A 1, 2, 3. There it is. Simple little groove, lots of fun dead notes. That's what we're here to talk about today. So I'm Ryan Medora. Welcome back to another lesson. And today we're really talking about a simple thing to do to add a little funk to your bass playing. And that is the dead note. I always like to think about the dead note as kind of like the butter and salt of a bass line, where, you know, when you go to a restaurant, the food is usually a lot better than what you can make at home. It's probably because they're using a whole lot of butter and salt, and that's the magic of restaurants. We can have the magic of bass lines by knowing that the dead notes are the things that add that little special secret sauce when we have cool bass parts. So we're going to talk about it, and we're going to go through a really simple exercise so that you can start practicing it and working dead notes into your playing. Now, if you want to get tab or notation for it, please head over to my Patreon page. Love having your support there. You'll have access to tab, notation, backing tracks, all kinds of things that accompany lessons. And don't forget to hit subscribe so that you get notified when new lessons pop up on this channel. So let's get into it. We're going to talk about a dead note. Now, I have a few other lessons on this channel that go into it more in depth, but today we're going to do a quick overview of a dead note, which is really just something that prioritizes percussion over pitch. So when we play a note, for instance, this E here on the 7th fret of my A string, you know, we can hear a nice clear pitch of that note. If we wanted to play a dead note, what we'll do is we'll play a percussive note right before playing the pitched note. So again, we're prioritizing percussion over pitch. And we usually do it before playing a pitched note. So you can hear how I can play a and then the pitch note. That's really, honestly, like an emphasis of what we're doing. And it usually works a little bit better if you do it quickly. But when I do that, you can kind of hear that ga-gung, where that first attack is the percussive note, the second one is the pitch note. And the way we can achieve this is by just having our fingers on the string, but not yet pressing down on the fretboard. So when we have our finger on the string, we're really muting the string, and then we can play the dead note. Then when we push down, we can play the pitched note. So when we play a dead note, it's really synchronizing the two hands, where we play an attack and we're resting / muting, and then the next attack that we play, we've pressed down to achieve the pitched note that we're trying to play. And there is your dead note. Sometimes people refer to this as ghost notes as well. But for these purposes, I'm going to just call them dead notes. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go with a simple chord progression. We're going to move from E to A, or 1 to 4 in the key of E. So we're going to go here to here. I'm just moving from my E on the 7th fret of my A string, and then the A I'm finding right next door. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a chromatic phrase to lead us to and from the chords. So when we go from our E, what we're going to do is we're going to play a chromatic line up to the A. So we're going to go with our pinky, this is very important, starting with the pinky, on the E, and then I'm going to use my index finger on the F sharp. I'm going to go chromatically, land on the A, and then I'm going to do that same move from the C sharp back to the E. So really this whole exercise is between the 4th and the 7th fret, with our pinky on the 7th fret and our index finger on the 4th fret. So we're going to start here, pinky, walk it up, land with our pinky on the A, and then return to our index finger on the C sharp on the 4th fret, return to our E. So the whole move is going to be basically a 2-bar phrase, first bar, second bar, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So you can hear how I'm playing just quarter notes, and I'm playing just straight 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 for this groove. Now, the reason why this is important is because we're going to start integrating a dead note before some of the pitch notes that we play. Now, a great thing to do is to add that dead note on the which, if you think about a quarter note and you turn it into 16th notes, we might have 1 E and That the last 16th note, is going to be the thing that we can play right before the next beat. So if we think 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. We're just going to use that we're going to go 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. That's where we're going to start placing our dead notes. And we're just going to do one thing at a time so we can hear the implication of what these dead notes do. So I'm going to start by playing a dead note before the second beat of our bar. So we're going to go 1, a 2, 1, a 2. Already, you can hear that we have intensified the funk of our groove. We're there. It's intense. It's like camping. Intense. Anyway, bad joke. Let's go and play through this a couple times. Again, we're going to be playing a dead note before the second beat of our bars. Great. You can just loop that for a while and get comfortable with it. Next, we're going to move that dead note and we're going to place it before beat 3 of the bar. So we're going to go 1, 2, a 3, 4. 1, 2, a 3, 4. There it is. That's just another thing you can do. Now we're going to shift that dead note again. We're going to play it before beat 4. So we go 1, 2, 3, a 4. Again, you can kind of feel that every time we shift that dead note, the funkiness of the bass line shifts a little bit. And the goal here is to get really comfortable with it so that, when you're playing, you start to just do this instinctively. But this is a great thing to practice, just moving that dead note. We've got one more place to move it to. Let's move it and play that dead note before beat 1. So this time we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So we're playing that dead note right before we land on the root note of our chord. So when you first play beat 1, you don't necessarily need to start at the very top, but we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1. So we're going to be playing that before we land on that A. And then as we go back and land on our E. So this is just a great thing to do as you're practicing moving through dead notes. So shifting where you place them in that bar is going to get your ear more comfortable to hearing all of the different options that you have. So, again, you can kind of play through this exercise. I highly recommend working with a metronome, getting nice and even with it. You can play it at different tempos. You can play it real nice and slow, but not too slow. You don't want to get really, really slow. If you find yourself in the 60 to 70 BPM world, that's probably a little bit too slow to get that funkiness from the dead note. And then if you play it too fast, it's just like, whoa, so much going on. But there is a nice sweet spot probably between around 86 to 110 BPM if you want to practice in that zone. But again, this is a great thing to do to integrate dead notes. And it's also something where this chord progression and this particular movement, you've heard that in blues, you hear that in a lot of gospel music. It's definitely something that will come in handy if you're into blues, R&B, funk, gospel, soul music, anything like that. So, hope you dug this exercise. Again, if you want to get tab or notation for it, please head over to my Patreon page and you'll be able to find it there. And happy practicing, everybody. Keep it groovy.